Do not play a wildcard in game week 3. In this video, I'm going to talk you through why you shouldn't be playing your wildcard this week, and if your team is really in a state, why you should be playing a free hit in game week 3. So strap on your boots and let's dive straight into the video. Why should you not wildcard in game week 3? Well, for one, in game week 4 is the international break. The international break gives you the potential to have double price rises, gaining 0.2 million from your players, increasing the value of your squad, and also there is potential for injuries for players that go away over that 2-week period. So by waiting an extra week and playing your wildcard in that game week 4, that allows you to just have another week of additional information on teams, tactics, managers' styles, team styles, and what teams we should be targeting. And also that allows you to wait until after the international break and after the transfer window is closed to see what moves teams have made, to see what players come back injured, not injured. So for me, it's really important that you do not play your wildcard in game week 3, given so much happens in game week 4. Now, I understand that a few of you might not have had the best starts to your seasons. And if that is the case, what I recommend is that you actually play a free hit in game week 3. And this on the screen here, as you can see, is my potential game week 3 free hit team. That is going to be my plan going into game week 3. I am looking to play a free hit. Now, the reasons for that: in game week 3, Liverpool play against Arsenal. This is a fixture where you're going to at least want some Liverpool players on your wildcard team. I can't imagine many players are going to be bold enough to be going into the rest of the season with no Liverpool attack, without Salah, Gakpo, Wirtz or Ekitike in their squad. However, game week 3 is a really difficult time to go into that team, given the difficult game against Arsenal. And teams like Manchester United specifically have a good fixture in game week 3. Now, if you want to rip up your whole team and wildcard into game week 3, you might potentially have a difficult week to score points in this. Now, from game week 4 onwards, the Liverpool team have much nicer fixtures going forwards, and this potentially could be a nicer week for the wildcard. On top of that, teams like Palace have some good fixtures from game week 4 onwards. It also gives me an extra week to assess the players, to assess the teams, and to see who those little gems are that people might not have spotted that I'd like to go into. It gives me the international break to then be able to play my wild card in game week 4 after all those players have come back, and it just gives you that additional bit of information that you might need. Now, if you look at my game week 3 free hit team here on the right, you can see that I've got players like Dorgu, De Ligt, Cunha, who have really nice fixtures for Manchester United against Burnley, but then they have Manchester City and Chelsea following that up, and then Brentford after that, who I might not want Manchester United defenders for those fixtures. On top of that, you've got people like Dango Ataro, who looks like a nice punt for one game week against Sunderland. You've got people like João Pedro, who's in good form. You give another week to see how he can go. Especially without Palmer in that side, whether he looks like he might be a gem now. You see that Tottenham team go one more game week against Bournemouth, who are a side that I think don't look that fantastic over the first 2 weeks, and I think might struggle. This also allows you to take a punt with your goalkeeper on someone like a Nick Pope, where potentially you might want to have a little bit less value in those goalkeeper spots and go for a 4.5 mil and a 4 mil goalkeeper throughout the season to sort of gain more points in that area. And it'll also give you an extra game week to make your decision on whether you're looking to go for a Salah and Haaland draft in your team, whether you can use those funds, whether you think Salah, you can maybe go without him and look for a double Liverpool with a Gakpo and an Ekitike, or an Wirtz and Ekitike, or mixing up the sort of Liverpool team, given that they've got so much striking potential. Are the goals going to be spread around, and is Salah going to be worth that price tag this season? These are the sort of considerations that you've got to take into account before you go for that game week 3 wildcard and rip your team up when you can use that free hit to give yourself an extra week's chance to think about it. Another thing that I just want to run through with you guys is these first 6 to 8 game weeks are where there are always the most variance in FPL, where the templates haven't emerged yet, where you can really use these chips to get an advantage that you haven't been able to do in prior seasons. These are the sort of 6 to 8 game weeks where you can go for players that other people might not have. You can attack these game weeks where the template isn't so set, where those key players are not a staple in every team, and you can look to gain that variance that happens in those first 6 to 8 game weeks before the tactics become more understood, the team lineups become more understood. You see what different managers are doing against different teams, how they set up their team tactically in offense and defense, and who those key players are going to be. And they obviously become good options and obvious picks for your FPL team. This is the time to take advantage of your chips, and that's why I'd recommend a free hit in game week 3 and then wildcarding in game week 4 if you're looking to move out of your current team after these first 2 game weeks. I've also done the liberties of taking a look at what a game week 4 wildcard team would look like. And just a quick shout out for you guys, if you have been enjoying this video so far, please smash that like button, subscribe down below to the channel. It will make a big difference for small content creators like me trying to grow in the community. Thank you guys so much. Let's get straight back into the video. Now, as you can see on this team, there are a lot of differences. You can see Spurs have some excellent fixtures from game week 4 onwards and potentially don't have as nice a fixture in game week 3. You can see the Crystal Palace fixtures look really nice with Munoz there coming into that team. You've got the Gakpos, you've got the Ekatikes if you don't want to go for a Salah, or you could alternatively look for a Salah and a cheaper 4.5 million forward in that lineup to get that Liverpool attack. You've got Aston Villa and Matty Cash, who have a difficult fixture against Crystal Palace in game week 3, but then the next 4 weeks they've got such nice fixtures spread out there. You can see Verbruggen in goal here, a 4.5 million goalkeeper. If you don't want to stretch the budget into the 5 million goalkeepers and you want to save a little bit of money in that back line, that's another option. I think from a Nottingham Forest wise, some of those players might be in your team regardless, as they have a nice game week 3, also good fixtures in 5 and 6 as well. But the sort of team that you can put out here allows you to rest some of those players in game week 4 on that wildcard draft to then bring in game week 5 and 6 when they play Burnley and Sunderland back-to-back against those promoted teams. These are the sort of differences that I would be considering between your free hit in 3 and wildcard in 4. I just don't think it works wildcarding in 3. You have such a different team that you want to look at in game week 4, as well as the other things we've talked about, the international break providing a basis for potentially players to get injured, giving you another extra week of data to understand the tactics of the managers, who the players in form are, what the squad lineups that are going to be playing each week are, and understanding maybe whether you want to go with a Salah and Haaland draft, with one or the other, and what you think of that Liverpool lineup. You get an extra week's information and you're able to take a punt in that game week 3 and maximize the use of this early season variance, which can really help you gain in the ranks. That would be my advice to all of you guys. If you don't like your team after 2 game weeks, if you are happy with your team over 2 game weeks, I think you could still consider a free hit in game week 3. Obviously, you might not need to wildcard in game week 4, and you can perhaps save that for a little bit later. Maybe the game week 7 fixture swing, look to get into some Arsenal players. Maybe that sort of 12-13 fixture swing, looking to go big on the Liverpool-Man City. But as you can see here, we still have 2 Liverpool, 2 Man City players. I wouldn't worry too much about not having that wildcard for 12-13. I think you're going to have a lot of those good players that you're after, and you'll be able to use your transfers to bring them into the team as we go onwards. Hopefully that helps you guys think a little bit more about your team, about the intricacies, when you should be playing your chips. If you've got any questions, put them down below in the comments. If you have any changes to these free hit wildcard teams, they are a bit of an example draft, but feel free to comment down below what your changes would be, and we can have a discuss through some of your teams and some of your drafts that you've gone through. Thank you so much for listening this far. Please give it a like and subscribe down below to the channel if you have enjoyed this content and you've got this far in the video. This has been your English Aussie. Have a great week, everybody, and I will catch you guys later.